Hello there, viewers of High Television. A special good morning to you all. You are welcome to the midweek edition of the program Press Brief of this Wednesday of the 19th day of June 2024. We'll be back to give you what's the print sector in the country and around the continent are saying. Once again, you are heartily welcome back to the program. For presentation, I am attending Larry Kevin Tabat. We start off with the first paper for this morning, Municipal Update of Victor Cham. For this day, says Bilingualism Commission, BRA's Secretary General, Dr. Chi Asafo, to dignity of great office. Get to read more on that paper of Municipal Update for today. African Child Day celebration. National Rights Commission drums in improve access to birth certificates during the African Child Day celebration that took place some days ago. And 2025 elections, National Youth Council President drums massive enrollment on voting in the Northwest region following her visits to Bamenda. From that publication, we take you to Le Médecin. Le Médecin reports on this medical prescription whereby the medical order of pharmacists in the country says before a prescription is done, they set doctor prescribing the drugs, names and hospital specialty and everything needs to be intact before the issuance or before the sale of that said drugs. Get to read more on that story on page 5. We move on to the fight against infectious diseases. The paper reports on how the government and alongside medical practitioners should put the hands on deck to make sure the fight against infectious diseases is being dealt with adequately. Innovation newspaper for this morning reports on the Cameroon Bar Council. It says the achievements of the president, Barrister Eric Mba, as 20th June tomorrow who comes knocking, as he will be clocking another anniversary as Cameroon Bar president. Douala Port Authority, the paper talks of the reduction that has now seen a drastic drop of some 14.4 billion CFA francs as compared to 2023. You want to find more on the ear section of Innovation newspaper for today. From Innovation newspaper, we take you to La Voix du Consommateur of Alphonse Abena Aïssi. That report on the road accident that is now recurrent on National Road number 5, that is along the Douala Bafoussam highway. The paper reports on how this road network, National Road number 5, is now a death trap for users using the Douala Bafoussam highway. We move on to World Blood Donor Day that was celebrated some days ago. It talks of FICACO, who mobilizes members of the association to donate blood across the various hospitals in the country, Cameroon. And balance of trades, the paper reports on what the balance of trade of Cameroon looks like. You want to get more on page 8 to page 9 on La Voix du Consommateur of Alphonse Abena Aïssi. From that publication, we crossed up north of the country with Lloyd Sahel of Guibé by Tama. For this morning, a report of the locality of Turu, it says a gendarmerie officer has been killed in a Boko Haram insurgency attack in that locality of Turu in the Far North region. Literature, the paper reports of students of Higher Teachers Training College Marua celebrates women of Sahel. Get to read details on that said publication for today. The Lake Chad Basin Commission, the paper reports on the multinational military force known as FMM, who liberated over 34 women and children from the captivity of Boko Haram insurgency. And Kolofata, the paper reports on more terrorists of the Boko Haram Islamic sect have been killed by the forces of law and order. Get to read more of the paper of Kibe by Tama Loju, that is Lloyd Sahel for this morning. From Lloyd Sahel, we crossed over to the southern region of the country with Khmer Press. Khmer Press reports on this World Bank classification of ports in the world, as the Douala Port Authority was among the last of that classification. Get to read more on that publication of Khmer Press for this day. And air transport, the paper report of internal conflict with Fly ZJet. Get read details on that internal wranglings unfolding in that aviation company known as Flies Jet. And we move on to the financial market in Gabon. The paper talks on how the Gabonese economy is faring under the military junta over there in the West African nation of Gabon. From that paper, let's make a stop over with this economic newspaper, Eco Matin. Eco Matin for this morning reports on the banking sector, how Societe Generale Cameroon was able to get a dignified result balance sheet of 29.8 billion CFA francs, increase of her banking operations from 2023 in the nation, and this goes a long way to debunk speculations of that the French banking giant Societe Generale says she wants to leave the country. Away from that Societe Generale story, we take you now to automatic toll gates in the country that was constructed by Tolcam, the French company that says some 2,000 salaries will be paid in Cameroon. Get to read more on that set paper for this morning. We move on to the next publication of Le Drapeau. Le Drapeau of Carol Tamba for today talks of the dynamism of MPEESA. This says the economy of Cameroon in 2023. Get to read more on that Carol Tamba newspaper of Le Drapeau. A new campus of EMIA has gone more than 40% realization, according to that paper, following the visit of the minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense, Joseph Beti Asomo, who made a trip over there in the new military campus of the training campus known as EMIA in Yaoundé. From there, we take you now to Amanclos Abanda on La Meteo. La Meteo newspaper reports on looking for partners. It says Amanclos Abanda in France. You can find details on La Meteo newspaper on that gentleman from Cameroon. And away from that, we move on to the Eagle's Eyes. The Eagle's Eyes for this morning report on Committee Echoes. Honorable Mbame steers Cameroon's legislative progress. You want to find details on the Parliamentary Affairs newspaper of the Eagle's Eyes for this day. In that set, Eagle's Eyes bottom page story talks of Reptis Aru Regi. It talks of Cameroon Parliament host CEMAC on artificial intelligence seminar that will be taking place in the city of Yaoundé this 19th of June 2024. From there, we move on to La Voix de Jeune. La Voix de Jeune report on Probratoire ESG. The paper talks of the recomposition. You want to find more on that paper of La Voix de Jeune for today. From La Voix de Jeune, we take you now we cross over to Emergence Quotidien for today. It talks of the transfer of funds to SEDEC. It says of the Director General that is retarding that. Get to read more. That's a paper. Small and medium-sized enterprises. The talks of the statistics of MIMPAS that was presented on the effects of small and medium-sized enterprises in the country. Get to read details of the stories and others on the pages of that publication for this morning. Away from that, we move on to the next paper for this day. We take you now to the next publication for today. That is the next publication for today is the Guardian Post. The Guardian Post reports of the Deposit and Consignment Fund Director General Accounts achievement 18 months after operations. Get to read details on the Guardian Post of Christian Gap for this day. And as that paper still, the paper reports of U.S. Congress hails Cameroon's fight against terrorism in the Lake Chad region. We move on to the solar story. Mbacha Rose urges Ngi Injadins to rally behind President Paul Biya. She was speaking during this come together of the Ngi people in the city of Yaoundé at visits to the EMIA campus under construction in Yaoundé. The minister delegate at the Ministry of the minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense, Beti Asomo, salutes the military engineering corps for the work done so far. Get to read details on that publication for today. Let's info our show for today. It talks of after the project and conditions of the law, militants and party sympathizers eligible for presidential elections. The paper report, that is what it's reporting for this day. And we take you now to the economic 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 ownership. The paper talks of the paper reports on how the Minister of Transport is prescribing certain injunctions on that. And from there, we take you to Mitaseong. Mitaseong of Charitiaga talks of Cameroon and the World Funds. It says the justification or reimbursement. That is what you can find on the paper of Charitiaga for today. And that's it. Mitaseong newspaper, GTech 2024. The paper reports on the engineering student who magnifies their work done. Let's move on to the Nigerian publication. We take you first up with Business Day. Business Day talks of oil buyers shift electric cars. Electric cars threatens Nigeria petrol dollars. Get to read details on that paper. And the paper celebrated Yoruba people for their come together in a ceremony that took place yesterday in the southwestern states of the Yoruba land. Daily Independent for this morning talks of River Council's 10-year crisis. Police man vigilante die as youth protest returns of ex local government chairman. And in that said paper, state federal government announces readjustment criteria for award of oil blocks. Daily Trust for this day, it says how PSC PF disputes stills recruitment of 10,000 police officers. The Business Times for this morning talks of how to curb on rising food inflation by agri-experts, and in that said paper, establishing Africa Energy Bank will foster energy security all across Africa, according to Luke Puri, who speaks on that. And Daily Times for this morning says shooting as Fubara directs HLGA to take over 20 councils. And in that said paper, still President Tinubu electric cable stealing raid track vandalism act of sabotage. Sporting Sun for this day says Arsenal to pay only 120 billion naira to sign Victor Osimhen, and Kylian Mbappe snubs Ronaldo, names Messi. And we move on to Chelsea host Man City on opening day. That is the games towards. That's the game. We are talking on the Premier League 2023-2025 fixtures. And we crossed over to this other story still on Sporting Sun. Messi Ramos was my fierce classical rival. And Daily Sun for today, Rivers State local government crisis stands bloody. In that said paper, the paper reports on be prepared for unexpected in food safety emergency, according to NAFDAC, who tells Nigerians. The Punch for this morning talks of Rivers State crisis. Cop killed as youth dislodge pro-Wike local government chairman, and 72 million US dollars diversion reps panel summons AGIP and NPC and others. And federal government offers 17 new oil blocks for bidding. Get to read details on that story from the Punch newspaper. Moving on to Punch Sport Extra for this day, talks of Operation Grab Fishayo. Get to read details on him, on the Wonder Boy footballer there. Arsenal ready to pay 100 million euros for Victor Osimhen, and Ajekpi drums Eagles return. We move on to Arsenal favorites to sign Onana. You want to find more on that said paper for today. Vanguard for this day says Nigeria not alone in poverty. Atiku, Labour Party tackles Tinubu, and how Lagos police rescued kidnapped Fwani MD and 4 others in night raid. Get to read more on the ear section on page 3 on Vanguard for today. From Vanguard, we take you to the next publication. Nigerian Tribune talks of Rivers 2 killed as chaos erupts over forceful takeover of councils in Rivers State of South Nigeria. Federal government Africa Bank seals deal of 3.5 billion US dollars deal for textile industry, CNG vehicles and others. And Kwankwaso APC treats wars over Kano Emir tussle. And we move on to gunmen kill Okada Union's officer in Ekiti State in southwest Nigeria. From human interest story, we move over to the next publication for today. That is Daily News Hub. Daily News Hub for today talks of Rivers boards in asset paper. 23 ex-council chairman for treason, reps G60 tells Fobara, and full list of English Premier League 2024-2025 fixtures have been announced. Get to read details on that paper. We take you to another parliamentary affairs newspaper, this time around from Cameroon. That is Ekodu Parliament report on the National Assembly. Three projects of law that have been tabled on the Commission of Foreign Affairs. You want to find more on that parliamentary affairs newspaper of Ekodu Parliament. From Ekodu Parliament, we take a bow out of the studio with the last publication for today. The last publication for today is Reality Plus of Paul. It says Minister of State, Minister of Higher Education, Jacques Famdongo, for this engagement of the University of Yaoundé there. That is to make sure university students living in the University of Yaoundé gets employment to the job market. And we move on to why Akom Ambang. He says the minister delegates at the presidency in charge of defense visits the ongoing work of the construction of the EMIA campus over there in the localities of Awai, Akom, and Abang. That is what you can find on Reality Please of Paul for today. And with Reality Please, this is what put a stop on this slot of this program for today. And we cannot go without wishing one of us whose sister,